Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So, with all these vaccines coming out now, I believe, how many is there? There's at least 5 or 6. If we count the one in Russia, then that's about 7, I think. They're coming from all different countries around the world: America, UK, Russia, Europe. And I'm sure there's other places that I haven't seen, that haven't been broadcast on our news media. But so many for this virus. The thing is, everyone's still charging for it. How do we all feel about that? That there's this plague, this virus. Now, I know some people will say it's not real, or it's not as bad as it is. I mean, numbers-wise, it was 100,000 in the UK, is it 600,000 in America, based on 300 million people in America and 70 million in the UK. Percentage-wise, the people dying of it is a small percentage, but it's still a lot of people. And every person's life is important. Just because it's maybe only 1% of the population doesn't mean that we shouldn't be concerned about it. But I get people who will say that, well, how much will the vaccine do if it's only 33 or 50 or 60% efficacious? But the thing I'm thinking about is the money. You know, some of them cost $12, some of them cost £7, some of them cost, all this money that's being made. Countries are buying up huge amounts of this stuff. Some of it needs 2 doses, that's double the amount of money. Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, all these major companies making money out of a disease that's killing people and that's keeping us all inside and keeping us from being able to live our lives. And this goes back to the thing that I always talk about, the system, the way that we live, the way that we choose how we live, and we could live any way that we wish to. How do we all feel about this? Isn't this abhorrent? Isn't this immoral, the way that we're acting? That even in this time where it's not like a war where you have to take sides, surely we're all on the same side with this virus. But even this shows up humanity at its worst. Because humanity has decided to keep its system, to keep its competition, to keep its borders, to keep one nation above another, to keep one person above another. Because, okay, you could argue the money side, that we live in a world and no one does anything for free. Doctors don't save people's lives for free. So why should the pharmaceutical companies do this for free? Because they have to make money, they have to survive. They'll probably say they're making it a cost. So, maybe they're not making any excess money from the actual manufacturing of the process that costs. But in a world where we don't really need money, we could do that, couldn't we? But let's just put that aside, because there are arguments, because we live in this system, that we have to abide by, and no one does anything for free unless it's charity work. But what about the idea of, if we're all working together, if we're all against this equally, then why are we still working in a competition of Pfizer versus AstraZeneca, or Oxford University versus BioNTech? Why? We've got different vaccines that work differently, have different values of how good they are, ranging from 33 to 90-some%. Now, if all these companies were working together, they could have made 1 or 2 vaccines. They could have pooled their information between each other to try and find, wait a minute, this one, the Pfizer one, it needs to be cooled at this temperature. But wait a minute, Oxford's found a way of not doing that. So if they shared all this information with each other, rather than competing against each other, because Pfizer wants to make money, AstraZeneca wants to make money, or they want their name up on a plaque. Why didn't they all work together? Oxford, BioNTech, all these people, all these pharmaceutical companies. Once they have the vaccine, they could give the formula to every pharmaceutical company in the world. There's not just these few, there's loads of them that are just sitting there, and people are worried about there not being enough around the world and squabbling over it. Whereas they could just give the recipe. But they won't do it, will they? Why? Because of money. Because of pride, because they want to keep their name on it. They won't give it away because some people will say because of safety. Yeah, of course there was an aspect of that. But if they're trusted pharmaceutical companies, then why can't they manufacture it and do it at cost? If you're not actually making any money, then you won't be worried about other pharmaceutical companies doing that. But as human beings, we're still acting in this way. And the other thing is, this disease has been around for a year, and yet, in the shortest amount of time, all these companies have managed to find pretty good, if their statistics are to be believed, cures, or at least, not cures, but cures not the right word, but ways to stop the virus killing you or harming you. But of course that's to be found. We won't really know that until we get real live data, and whether anyone's going to truly give that to us, I don't know. Of people who take the vaccine and end up having complications or ended up dying. But if you think about cancer and these other diseases that have been around for hundreds of years, and around the world different charities taking research money year on out, and still nowhere closer to anything like this. Yeah, you could say, well, this was an urgent thing, so everyone's been working really quickly. But cancer's been around, the charity's been around for 50, 60 years. I don't know. I know they've made advancements and lots of these things, but it just seems a bit weird to me that as if they're not putting as much effort into these other things. And this is showing them up to showing them that they can, and the reason why they had to do it this time is because everyone's racing against each other because they want to find this wonder vaccine. So they can't play about like they do with other diseases because they don't kill as many people in the same time frame that this Covid-19 is. This is a shame. That's the thing I always look at. Not whether these things are true or false, or whether they're hyped up. All governments play games and statistics. We all know all about that business and how effective the drugs really are. Most people probably don't need it because most people will get no symptoms or light symptoms and don't really need a vaccine. But you don't know which one you are, so. But that's what I mean. But the thing that worries me is how humans, we still want to play these border games. We still want to play this old world system of money and competition and not actually striving for each other, for humanity. If this doesn't wake us up, when are we ever going to wake up and see that we're all brothers and sisters of each other? This isn't that hippie shit. This is reality. We choose how we choose how we live. Why are we still living in this archaic, old-fashioned system that was good enough maybe 1,000 years ago? But in 1,000 years, they'll laugh at how we used to let people die while we used to play these silly Monopoly games with each other's lives. Take care. Take it easy. God bless and peace.